Good afternoon, guys. It's a happy Sunday afternoon, very sunny and warm where I am right now. Really excited to be here this afternoon to just do my weekly analysis. So I'm just actually doing this pretty early in the day. Usually I do it like late afternoon or evening, but this time I just want to do it early. So welcome. First of all, if this is your first time on my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support. But yes, welcome to our weekly analysis. And I am here looking at, I'm going to look at a couple of pairs. I usually do not look at USD JPY, but because we are here and we've landed here, I mean, why not? We may as well um, go through it. So, what I usually do, guys, I look at the weekly time frame. That's where I like to start. This is me. This is very my own bias um, and what I'm seeing on the weekly, what we can basically see, guys, is um, USD JPY has been trending up. Okay, technically, right now we are in a sideways range. Okay, it's very clear that we are in a ranging market. Okay, yes, we've been pushing lower and lower and lower, and we kind of broke out of this range at some point, and then we got back in, and we were kind of scaling lower, and we finally now are just back where we were um, in 2017. I mean, this is definitely 2018. We actually haven't been to this level on UJ since 2018. Okay, so this is a very strong level. It's a very strong level. Whether or not we do break out is the question. But right now, what I'm looking at, so let me just get that out of the way. So very key, important zone up here. We can see. I like this level here. There's first of all, if we do break out, we definitely are headed really, really haywire to the top side. There's a lot of liquidity pending up here that has not yet been mitigated. And but technically, like I said, we are in a sideways kind of movement. Although we have been scaling lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then in 2021 January, the beginning, we actually got to the bottom of this downtrend, and then we began to push up. So what I'm looking at right now is that there is a possibility that we will actually reject and begin to push lower. Okay, I'm looking at key levels here at possibly retrace the 111 636. That's really far away. That's about 200 pips um, downside. Okay, it's not too far. 182 pips away from where the current price closed on the market. Why I'm feeling like we may push lower, I just feel like UJ just took out liquidity up here and took out a bit of highs here. I'm not sure yet we are about to break out. Remember, we haven't broken out of this level at 114 577 since 2017. In fact, in 2018, we actually didn't even hit it. As you can see, we aren't really there. So we've kind of taken out the 2018 high, and we are now kind of pushing down. And my take is we may try to retest the 111 640 level at some point in the future, or even the I think that's basically it. Like 118, 200 pips away, 180 and to 200 pips away. So I'm looking at this retracement, but that's on the weekly. And yeah, on the daily, looking similar. We have lows of 111.775 that we may see us revisiting, which is currently how many pips away to be exact? 144 to 150 possibly pips away. Okay, so I'm technically looking on the daily, I am bearish. Um, I mean, we closed bearish, okay, and I feel like we're just going to drop, okay. So I'm bearish on UJ, guys, or on the daily. So I won't look at the lower time frame because usually lower time frame I look at it if I'm considering entries. But my weekly and my daily time frames, maybe if I look at the 8 hour, are all telling me the same thing. We may, yeah, I'm just like, we may see a bit of rejection, slight rejection, but I feel like we are definitely getting to the 111, 726 zone, or even the 111.976 level at some point in the future. So I am bearish on UJ. In case we do reject and begin to push up, because there is potential, we may have a slight pullback. We may just pull back, let's say, to the 113 and then continue onwards. But I'm definitely bearish on USD JPY. I was about to say United States JPY. On a light note, anyway, so that's UJ. But guys, like I said, it's not one of my most popularly traded pairs. I like to look at the GBP pairs, mainly GBP USD. So let's go there. Let me just clear my chart so that we don't have too much noise. So when I go on the weekly, what's the weekly time zone telling time frame rather? So on the weekly time frame, we've been pushing up for the last 3 weeks. We did kind of close with a bit of a rejection top side, okay? So we did push up and then we kind of tapered out towards the end of the week, as you all can see, okay? We didn't quite get to this zone here at 1.38948. We just kind of reject. So it's possibly that there was some price action on the lower time frame that anticipated this push down. This is like a doji, whatever candle, rejection candle you want to look at up here. So showing a bit of indecision towards the upside, and we're seeing sellers kind of rejected the push up. Okay. But basically, GU has been tapering lower. If I was to draw a trend line there, we definitely see this rejection to the downside, and we see there was this rejection up here that possibly still continue to the downside. We have been scaling lower lows. So lower highs, anytime you see a trend down, guys, lower highs, lower highs, and lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. So yes, since the 31st of May, GU has been dropping, okay? But what I see happening at this level here, okay, where we saw this was on the, we saw something interesting in the market happen with GU, okay? It rejected at the 1.34016 and began to push up. So this is September. In September, GU kind of bottomed out and began to push up. Now, with this rejection here, maybe we can argue and say maybe we are still trying to push lower. But what I'm seeing is there's a lot of pending liquidity topside, and I feel like GU, despite this, we may continue to see her pushing up. But if I look at the daily, may explain why there was a rejection. And clearly, possibly that's why there was this rejection. But I feel like, we are going to continue pushing to the upside, okay? That's my bias for now. This low here took out the liquidity on the left here, and we kind of retested and are on our way continuing up. Yes, we got to a liquidity zone here that kind of rejected, and but I feel like there's still room to move to the upside. So whatever happens, even if we push lower, we may see a drop to the levels of 1.36437. We may see that, but technically right now, guys, I'm very bullish on GU, okay? Right about now. Okay, maybe the lower time frame will tell me a different story. We did take out liquidity up here. If you look at the 8 hour, we did take out those rejection here. Understandably, that was anticipated, but I feel we still have to continue. We still have room to continue up because of this equal highs here. We may want to take out those equal highs before we see anything else. So that's GU. If I look at GBP JPY, another pair that I like to trade, we're seeing a similar narrative. If I go on the weekly time frame, we are seeing that we took out highs, previous highs here, and are beginning to taper out. So GU on the weekly is looking kind of like, we may want to push down a couple of pips, let's say about maybe 300 pips to the downside. There's that potential, okay? Especially after taking this previous high of May. On the daily time frame, the same thing is happening. We took out this previous liquidity up here and now are beginning to push lower. So GJ is looking more bearish than, let's say, GU, okay? Looking like we may push lower to, let's say, these levels here, 400 pips away. That's a possibility, guys. That's a possibility. We took out this equal highs up here at 156.075. Okay. And there was a strong rally. I mean, GU has definitely been rallying to the upside. And considering that UJ has been dropping and everything, I feel like GJ may relax its push to the upside. It broke structure here. And when I say structure, I mean it took out a previous low here, a mini low there, and is looking pretty bearish at this point in time. So we may actually just drop all the way down here, possibly even lower here. So yeah, looking bearish on GJ. We are approaching some interesting levels though, okay? We may just reject off certain zones here. I'm not sure the drop down will be consistent. We may see some rejection on the way down and possibly just trying to get to these lower levels here and everything. So I am technically looking at GJ dropping quite a bit before we see anything else. We've been on a nice rally, but I feel like price is beginning to taper out after we took out these highs here. We've actually retested this break of structure. You can see there was a break of structure here. This high was taken out. So there's a potential that we will reject off of that zone and continue onwards. But if we push below, then there are chances that we may actually just continue all the way to, let's say, the 152.377 level. So I'm kind of 50-50 here, okay? I feel like there's potential. When I look at it on the 8-hour, I'm actually seeing like, there's actually a potential to reject at the 155.782 and then possibly continue onwards. But on the higher time frame, we are seeing bearish momentum, like on the weekly and on the daily. Okay, and that's why, like, guys, depending on what you're doing, whether you're scalping or you're swing trader, you may be looking at the charts a bit different. Yeah, but for me, long term, GJ is looking bearish. Long term, if I go back to the weekly, there's quite some room to push lower. However, with this, when it took out this high, this could just be a bounce off of this high and we may continue to the upside. So again, I'm 50-50, looking like we could taper out. Long term, we are bullish, but and again, what I'm saying may sound a bit confusing, but the thing is, guys, it just depends on what you're doing right now. If you're a scalper, you're looking for an entry, right? If you go on the lower time frame and let's say you're looking at the 1 hour or the 30 minutes, the chart will look slightly different, okay? We may continue lower before we see anything else changing, because we see a nice drop here and we may just continue lower. And that's why I'm saying it could go different ways. There's a break of structure that happened here. We took out highs here. So we may just bounce off of this and continue, but there's room for GJ to actually drop lower. Okay, and that's why I'm kind of bearish on it. And long term, okay, once we've retraced and taken out liquidity downside, because there is liquidity downside here on the weekly time frame. On the daily, there's also liquidity downside here, so that's why I was telling you guys initially I am bearish. But when I go on the lower time frame, we may see counter trends happening. But really, I don't want to counter trend. Generally, I like to look at the higher time frame. Anyway, that being said, let's look at another pair. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Obviously, when the market opens, we'll see something else. So let's look at Euro AUD. Actually, let me look at AUD USD. When I'm looking at AUD USD, what I'm seeing on the weekly is that we've been bullish. We have actually taken out this previous high here, okay, kind of rejected. So possibly on the lower time frame, there's possibly some price action that has caused this rejection to happen. But we've been bullish on AUD. And when I say bullish, if we even look at it long term, we've been pushing up. And then from the beginning of the year, around March, we started tapering out. So this was basically a rally to the upside, a bit of retracement, rally up. And then finally, we've kind of retraced up to a previous zone here that happened in 2020. Didn't quite take out this 2020 low. Okay. So possibly because we are still pushing lower, we could have just been taking out this low as we continue downside. This is what I'm actually anticipating might happen, that USD may continue tapering to the downside, possibly because we have some liquidity downside that needs to be taken out. That's on the weekly time zone. Okay. On the daily, again, took out the highs. We can see it a bit better, but we closed the market bearish with a bearish engulfing candle. And guys, I'm still seeing like a possibility for us to just taper out, drop, possibly go lower before we continue our move to the upside. So long term, we saw on the weekly push to the upside. We retraced earlier in the year, and we're now beginning to push up, and we took out our previous highs. But there's liquidity downside. That's something we don't want to forget. But we'll see what happens. Closed bearish, possibility of us continuing downside is high. Okay, it's pretty high, because I mean lower highs. But then guys, we broke structure here. So even if we push lower, I'm still anticipating that yes, we'll push lower, but we'll continue on our way up. I feel like this retracement possibly is coming to an end. But then again, market open, there's room to drop below as we go to the upside. Now when I look at US30, which is an index, we are seeing really nice bullish momentum in the last couple of days and I suppose weeks. We have kind of broken structure here. Okay. When I say broken structure, we've just broken this high that happened in August. Okay. But then we kind of closed below that August high, showing that, there's a bit of, guys would say resistance up here. So there's potential to just, I'll be watching. Bullish, definitely, on the long term on US30 on the weekly. On the daily, looking bullish. But you see, there's a bit of a rejection here at this zone. So this could just be taking out people. I would really like to see US30 reverse a bit, for that nice rally to the upside and the break of structure completely. I'd love for it to retrace, let's say, to the 35, 343 level, which is possibly about 250, 270 points away from where price closed. So yes, the same thing with AU. Like I said, guys, I feel like we may push lower before we continue on our uptrend. But generally, long term, long term, we should, if we see a strong rally to the upside, we shouldn't be surprised. Anything that we see as a pullback is just that, a pullback, right? Unless we completely break structure below these levels, then I'll be looking at bearish moves. But right now, guys, US30 is looking bullish. So let me look at gold, guys. Gold, we saw a major rejection. Okay, we saw a major rejection on gold. This is on the daily. Okay, so we closed pretty bearish, And if we look at this move here, we just took out this previous level here, we took out this previous level here, and pretty much I feel like we're going to begin to see gold push lower, okay? Push lower to maybe levels of, 196 pips away. But if let me look at the weekly first. Yeah, so we are seeing that rejection, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, so I feel like there's room to actually push lower. So I think the market on gold will open bearish, just based off the rejection on the weekly and what we see on the daily. This is quite a strong rejection candle, so I'm bearish on gold. Let's look at Euro AUD now. Euro AUD literally took out previous levels of structure here. So when I say previous levels, I'm looking at, this zone here, this level here. Okay, we kind of broke structure here. There's a chance that we're trying to retest that zone and then we continue downside, because this is a very strong bearish move. Okay, so if we don't, I feel like we will push up and then continue on downside. That's what it's looking like, guys. That's what it's looking like. That's on the daily. The weekly, we are seeing the strong rejection here. We've broken structure. I still feel like, we could revisit these levels at 1.53333, which is how many pips away? About 200, 300 pips away. We still have a distance to go. I don't see Euro AUD breaking levels here, breaking below this level. But there's a possibility that, there's a major rejection up here. There's a possibility that we are still going to break below. I mean, we still have ways to go before we break below the 300 pip zone. But I'm definitely, despite this rejection on the weekly, my daily time frame, I'm seeing like this is a retest. The only time I'll be looking at potential buys is if we break structure above this zone here, which is the 1.5724 zone. But definitely still thinking we'll push up slightly, then continue to the downside as of now. But guys, we know how the market may open. So again, it's always good to observe that. But generally, this is a really strong rally down. And this could just be a slight retrace. Everything in terms of price action is just showing me lower lows. Let me look at Euro JPY. Let me look at Euro CAD. I like Euro CAD. Looking like Euro AUD, guys. Looking like Euro AUD. We definitely have ways to go. We are at an interesting level. Okay, we have retested previous lows here on the weekly time frame. Okay, and there was a very strong rally down. I feel like we may consolidate here. We may consolidate at this zone before we break through. I'm still feeling like EuroCAD may actually break through this zone, but we may see some rejection at this level. We may see that. Let me look at the daily. I mean, if I look at the weekly, we are at, this structure here is a mini, kind of rejection zone. Look at the daily. You see, we can see it a bit better. We may push up. Whether we reject completely is the question. I'm not sure this will be a very convincing rejection upside. I'll wait to see what happens on market open. But right now, I'm still expecting lower lows, okay, and lower highs. Euro JPY, looking bullish. We took out levels up here. On the weekly time, so this is on the daily. Again, just looking like GJ, okay, looking like the yen pair GJ. We may see price at least retest this zone. 136.87, which isn't too far off, I think, 150 pips away. So yeah, generally I'm expecting some retracement on EJ, just like I did on GJ. And similarly looking bearish, just like the Euro AUD pair, Euro CAD pair. But we may see a bounce off this level as we continue up, because I think we kind of we were initially pushing down here, as you can see, but we kind of broke structure. Okay, and we broke structure, retested this zone again, and then completely broke out. And we haven't yet gotten quite. So I think we may come back here and then continue to the upside. Okay, so in as much as there'll be a retracement, I still feel like long-term Euro JPY is looking bullish. So guys, thank you so much. I really hope this analysis is going to help you guys prepare for your week, and that's why I've done it a bit earlier. If you guys want me to look at any other pairs during the course of the week, feel free to comment in the comment section. And yes, as always, guys, smash that notification bell, and thank you so much for tuning in. See you soon.